Hello. In the previous class, we have seen the distinction between concept and object. We have seen that the proper name designate an object and the predicate designate a concept. Object, we have seen that it's saturated and the concept is unsaturated. The object or the proper name can refer to one and only object, and the predicate is a concept relation which it can have with many objects, so it becomes unsaturated or incomplete. Today we will see some other aspects of concepts and objects. Okay, concepts works as functions. In the initial class I told that Frege works somewhere between mathematics and philosophy, and in mathematics we use function as something which can be used in different contexts. Okay, a concept works as function. A function contains variable that can represent a variety of objects. When you say that y equal to x square, so y is a function of x, so that y equal to x square. So when x becomes 1, y is 1. When x becomes 2, y is x square, that is 4. When x becomes 3, y is x square, that is 9. Then x becomes 4, y is 16. X becomes y, y is 25. So y is determined by x. This is what is meant by function. Something is determined by a function. So the concept can work as function. That's one feature of concept. So thus the concept black is expressed in x is black. So like what I told, x square. So x is black can represent the crow is black, the horse is black, the board is black, or the pen is black in any way. So it works as a function. So anything can be filled in place of x. That's why it becomes unsaturated or incomplete. And a function always remains unsaturated and has predicative power. It's a predicate and it remains always unsaturated. You can add anything for x, like the ocean is black or the mind is black, whether it's meaningful or not. You can add anything to it. So it becomes unsaturated or it becomes incomplete always. And another relation is that no object is a concept and no concept is an object. They are not interchangeable. One and the same way, in the initial lecture we have seen that one and the same word or one and the same term can function as both concept and object. But when it is a concept, it is a concept. It cannot be an object. And when it's an object, it's an object. It cannot be a concept. So they are not interchangeable. Okay. If objects are saturated and concepts are unsaturated, then no object is a concept and vice versa. The reason because no object is a concept and no concept can be an object is that the objects are saturated, means it refers to a particular entity, a particular thing, and concepts are unsaturated. It's open. It's wide open that it can accommodate anything. It always remains unsaturated. So they have got two different functions. So they cannot be interchanged. And the relation between object and concept can be expressed this. Okay, these are the relations between object and functions. This object, they are either subject, they appears as subject in a proposition, or they are the proper names. And because of that, they designate a single entity. Whereas the concept is always a predicate, it's a property. And an object is complete. It cannot accommodate anything more. When I say that the pen is black, the pen refers to a particular pen. Nothing more can be added to that. So it is complete. Whereas black is incomplete. I can say that the cable is black. Not only that the pen is black, the cable is black and the board is black and anything. So it becomes incomplete. And other term for completeness and incompleteness are saturated and unsaturated. The objects are saturated. Saturated means nothing more can be added to that because it's complete. And the concepts are unsaturated. It can accommodate any number of objects as its function. So it remains unsaturated. And another feature of the object is that it is self-subsisting. It doesn't require anything else to exist. But an attribute always exists as an attribute of something. This you might have studied in Indian philosophy. When we discuss about the guna and karma. When you study Vaisheshika, when you study the categories, Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha, Samavaya, Abhava, like that. So the Dravya is the substance. That's how we translate it. And Guna is the attribute. And Guna cannot exist independent of Dravya. Or the attribute cannot exist independent of the substance. In the same way here, the object is self-subsisting, the pen is self-subsisting, and no quality can exist independent of the object. The blackness exists as the attribute of pen or as the attribute of black. There cannot be any blackness as such. There is no independent existence. Of course, Plato says about that. In the transcendental world of ideas, everything exists. But here we are not referring to that. Any property, any attribute can exist as an attribute of an object only. So they exist as an attribute of an object. So they are not self-subsisting. That's the concept. So objects are determinate. So when you say this pen is black, this is determinate. It is referring to a particular pen. Whereas blackness function as a function. It's a function. We have already seen that. And we can say that the objects are singular and definite. Articles like the are used. Singular, it refers to a single entity, and articles like the is used to refer to object. And concepts are indefinite and articles like all, any, no, and some are used. This is the usage difference in articles as far as objects and concepts are considered. And going to the last section, that's about the paradox of the concept horse. And for Frege, the paradox of the concept horse is the concept horse is not a concept. This is somewhat paradoxical. You are telling that the concept horse and you are telling that it's not a concept. So how the paradox is resolved, that we will look into next. The paradox of horse is significant in the context like sentences like the city Berlin is a city. There is no doubt about that. That's why it's called Berlin city. It's a city. And Prime Minister Modi is a Prime Minister. We call him Prime Minister Modi because he is a Prime Minister. But the paradox of concept of horse is that the concept horse is not a concept. This is somewhat paradoxical because if the city Berlin is a city and Prime Minister Modi is a Prime Minister, then the concept horse must be concept. We should have written it, the concept horse is a concept. See here, the Berlin corresponding to that, here there is horse. The city corresponding to that, here there is the concept. Now this same city is repeated here, then the same concept must have been repeated here, but that's not the case. Instead of the concept horse is a concept, we are forced to say that the concept horse is not a concept. Why is that? Because according to Frege's distinction between the concept and the object, the concept horse is a singular term. When we use it as a subject term, then it becomes a singular term. Here the concept horse is a singular term and it is used as a subject of a proposition. When it is used as a subject of a proposition, it becomes an object. So it's not a concept expression and should designate an object, and therefore is not a concept. So this becomes true in the context that when we say that the concept horse, it is used as a subject term of the proposition. So the subject term of the proposition is an object. So it cannot be a concept. So we deny it to be a concept. So the concept horse is not a concept. And we can get into the meaning of that. When we say that the concept horse, we are not referring to an attribute called horse. We are referring to a thing called the concept horse. So that thing is not a concept. It is not an attribute. It's a thing. So it is not a concept. That's the paradox of the concept horse. But this is not true of the concept horse, since the term the concept horse is neither predicate nor an unsaturated term. It's referring to a particular entity. This I already explained. And this is the major distinction between concept and object in Frege. It's not the word which function as concept or object, but its place in a proposition. Whether it's a subject term or predicate term, whether it's used in a saturated sense or it's used in an unsaturated sense. and other features we have seen earlier. And that's all about concept and object. See you in the next class. Till then, bye. Thank you.